Hey guys, super quick YouTube. Crypto, what an exciting time. We've had some real volume, we've had some real upside moves. Where is it all lying? Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, we as a continuation trader is always going to be circumspect about what was happening. And even though we scenario cast for the upside and an ascending setup, I wasn't comfortable with trading it. Big grind line for us on the lower side there on the red. Let's draw him. It's super thick there. You can see what I'm doing. So there's been drift buying. Typically when you get lots of drift buying, we anticipate that it will more often than not, around about the 75% of outcomes, in fact even sometimes higher depending on circumstances, you expect a stab through to the downside. Occasionally you get what's called the exception, where instead of just being a grind line of weak buying, it's the advanced party of a wave of buying to come in, and what you end up getting is a melt up away from your grind line. And that's what we ended up having. And in fact, we had ascending upside HVFs here. This is total market cap. So my key message to everyone at the moment is we've had a big move that's at a key level now that has made a key target. So with that break there and making the target there, we are now churning. And you'll notice also that the volatility has got bigger. So there's a slap down in there. Boom. Click the button there. Let's try that again. Boom. So you're getting a slap down. So what's probably likely is progress decay. Everyone going to come charging, expecting just continuation of the moon. Potentially there will be resumption because this is a big move. It's a first setup in a new trend. We typically treat these differently. It can be a precursor. We could indeed have the bottom that many people are waiting for. As I mentioned, the slight angle and our concern on that grind line had us not be positioned as we would have liked. But luckily, we did our relative strength once we realized that it was a bull. And we were very fortunate to do well inside the community on Bitcoin ABC. Bitcoin Cash ABC, which has been one of the best performers. But let's have a look at Bitcoin as well. So that's kind of what we typically refer to as the God markets. Again, this structure, all of it. In the end of the day, we had an upside HVF with an ascending. Whoop, I didn't do the line. Let's do that. That was our low in actual fact, right in the bottom left corner. Let me get him back on the screen. So that was essentially so far what could indeed be the proven final low. Let me get that out the way. It always wants to park it in the wrong place. Put him somewhere in the middle there. So that could indeed be the final low. What I want to say, some people have asked questions in the comments, and we will be doing this on our non-farm payroll and crypto finds tomorrow in far greater detail. Does that mean all possibility of downside is off and that's definitely the low? It doesn't mean that, but it doesn't. It certainly has reduced the likelihood of that to what I'd consider a minority percentage. We'd need to see an extreme degree of volume, a taking back of this, and a pursuit of new lows to actually negate the rounding bottom. We need to look also at the bigger time frames. But before we go to those bigger time frames for that, let's just finish here. So again, you can see we actually had a very ascending structure. So we've got HVF structure with a very ascending plane, and that has made its target. It's also tapped out at a key level of significance that you'll learn about more if you do a program. No more free webinars for a bit now, guys. I'm not doing the live free webinars anymore. You can check in on our website. You can have a chat with an existing HVF trader who is where you were before starting your journey, if you wish, to contemplate membership with our programs. But no more free webinars, and we are doing some amazing new content, getting my kit and studio sorted out. Really excited and enjoying this. So a lot of the key aspects that are not explained in the YouTube is going to be totally newly and freshly re-recorded with quite a lot of new material. Okay, but those targets all made is the essence of this. So what does that all mean? It just means likelihood of underperformance for a bit. So that means pullbacks, passage of time is passing with no fresh gains, pullbacks, churn, consolidation, and even short time frame setups that can lead to spikes down to the bottom side. When I say down, that can just mean, you know, you can do a 50% retrace of your flagpole break, and then you can bottom out again, and you can start forming maybe new continuation structure for the upside. So it's been an exciting event for crypto after the long winter, and it has been a long winter. And I think if we take that low at 3.1, give or take dollars from a $20,000 high, you're looking at about a 15.5% left from its high. So it was the pretty brutal 85% sell-off for Bitcoin. And of course, on your alts, we've had deep into the 90s plus pullback. Incidentally, we did that analysis on the relative strengths, and we also said Ethereum and Ripple to underperform on that, and that has been the case. I think I mentioned it last time. And again, if we have a little peek on Ripple, far less spectacular on the bigger time frame. This is a daily, so in fairness, I should make it a 4-hourly as well, but far less spectacular in terms of what it's done. And also note the give back. The give back there on Ripple has been a very high percentage wise. You're already at about 60% take back of your move. So again, this is highlighting the value of relative strength. So we were late despite scenario casting for the possibility of the upside. We didn't want to risk it. We were late to that. We were fearing a down spot. But once you get that and you get the run up there, you see this fella has taken back 60%. So the relative strength helped you by getting in late on Bitcoin Cash ABC and playing the shorter time frames and the continuation patterns there. We actually were able to get quite a nice little earner out of it, despite not securing the main move of the probable bottom. So answering a couple of other questions, guys were also saying, they were asking about the big downside. We'll come back to that. We'll have a look at a big chart. As I say, it's not likely probable unless we get some extreme events. That you can never rule them out. Never say 100%, but it's not looking on any great degree of probability at the moment. There was good volume support, but as we highlighted, Ripple a bit of a laggard. There other winners, ADA. You probably know them by name anyway. Bitcoin Cash, ABC, and also let's have a little look inside. We were highlighting these inside our community when we were chatting on them. Not sure if I'm going to find it here. The Litecoin was the other one, jogging my memory. Let's go to Litecoin. Now again, what I'm illustrating here, blow off high, but you have had, and we're on a shorter time frame now, just catching the move. We have had big move up, but that is quite a warning signal, and you can get structure for little bits of sell-off moves that can retrace some of that before maybe you get some bottoming out. Someone else had also asked in and around the rising wedge. We had highlighted that there was a rising wedge in Litecoin. Litecoin was one of the first to start the real move that has transpired more broadly now. And Litecoin itself, you can see it gave us some good structure here for what we're looking for in the continuation. Initially, this was a rising wedge, and we were saying, are you going to break down? And in actual fact, it stayed exceedingly calm coming out of that rising wedge. So this was a rising wedge from when it first began. It stayed exceedingly calm, did its down leg, if you want to call it, its rest period in a very moderated way, had another impulse, squeezed, and then a final really low vol one, and that was an overperformance upside continuation pattern as well, all the way up, and it's gone literally also to new highs and is holding them a bit better than the likes of Ethereum and Ripple, but has had a proper slap in the face over there. Okay, so what do I expect? Little bit of progress, decay, calming, coming off, small amount of retracement. But remember, this being new, fresh moves in a clear new trend, it's also quite a bit of green shoot elements to it. So you can get, after it's shaken its head and lost its hangover from a bit of a booze party and come off a small amount, you can see rebuilding, resetting up of fresh upside continuations. But what of that downside risk? So let's not risk any further and go straight to the all market cap view. So if we go daily, closing this, go daily, Oh, I'm able to touch screen and all of this. I'm loving the new tools. Really pumped for getting the content out there. So let's just bear this in mind. Where were the big challenges? Well, when everyone else was calling bottoms too early, people will be always too early, and that means we'll be late on the continuation. We'll be circumspect, and that's a probability-based gain. You won't get the first one if you're trading with a continuation as your theme. But what did we get? We realized it quick enough. Now that's a good move, and this is, as I say, a nice cupping bottom. So let's get the drawing tool back on the total market cap. As I say, slightly angular here, which was putting us off, but that nice move up there is positive, and with that target made great, it can ease back, but it still has that shadow of the big sell-off hanging heavy over it. So it's going to be interesting how it interacts with that. Typically these things, even if it settles and winds up and forms another continuation and pushes up, it will probably exhaust once after getting in it, have a pullback, and require some sort of winding up, because these levels are usually run with strength, with power. If they're to be broken, they have to be smashed. So the horse needs his run up to clear that fence. So he comes up to it, he inspects it, he gets his rest, gets fed, gets strong, and then takes a little bit of a run up and then comes and clears it. And that's kind of the progress that we'd have to expect. But first we have to digest the move we've already made. So I would anticipate that will require a down leg. Let's close that. So just expand that slightly. So a down leg from here slightly. Doesn't have to be the hugest, and then slowly we work up to these levels over here. This has got the altcoin component in it, but it's going to need a lot of positivity out of Bitcoin as well. So we can run past Bitcoin's take on the same time frame. We'll close that. We'll go up to the daily. And you can see this for yourself on the bigger time frame. Wow, there's so many lines on there from the history. But you can see that hangs heavy. That 6.5K hangs heavy. There was another area over here around about the 5.7s, which was also a significant small continuation to the downside on the downside. Remember, this upside is great, but actually next to this sell-off, was this the final capitulation? Could have been. Is this the low? Possibly. We've had a first nice setup, but we've also had up moves before. So that's why I say you can't absolutely rule it out, but it's going to require a new momentum, a new degree of volume. Look at the volume. When you see the volume, this is Bitfinex. Some of you don't like that platform. I wonder if they're being persecuted by the more control structure friendly platforms. I don't really know. Either way, supposedly Binance has the higher volume, but you'll probably find even there, when I've looked at the Binance, that those volumes have not had the significance of this. So remaining a 5 to 15% circumspect about the fact that if you were to run through this particular level round here, I wouldn't want to see the $4,200 on Bitcoin fall and to be on the wrong side of that. That would start to, whoa, okay, hang on, it's got a bit rough out here. So we'll see. But for now, shooting star, that's that little candle up top there. I might have to do that again. That was a bit inaccurate. Let's stretch him out. Shooting star is that daily candle from yesterday, so the one just before the one that's currently in play, and I'll circle him again now for you just so that everybody's clear. That is a really fine little fellow. That's him there, and that points to a little bit of exhaustion. That wick there, quite a bit of give back from its high, and as I've mentioned, levels that are awaiting of some significance all the way through here. So there's work to be done, and I think maybe a chance to rest and hopefully to give us a nice continuation pattern for the upside that we could catch to long. It won't be the first, but just bear in mind, everything hasn't gone away forever of the selling, and sometimes you can be faint, but for now, certainly on the 4 hour, I would say on the daily, I'd like to see these two levels run. If we can get back above these 6.5s, then your daily time frame is bull. I would say I'd extend the bullish time frames for me to the 4 hourly for now, which is already a reasonable time frame. So from all the time frames up to 4 hourly. On the daily, we're waiting for a bit more absolute confirmation of key levels to drop, particularly that 6,500. We had that soft floor and hard floor period for such a long time. It was about a 6-month gestation period with everyone calling the bottom, we've got to clear that. Okay, that's your update on crypto. The alts have been particularly juicy. Funny enough, the ones like Bitcoin. So we've had the Litecoin, we've had Bitcoin Cash ABC that have done particularly well on the coin market caps. If we just take a quick fly through before I finish for the day, if we just look at the last 24 hours, you've got 19% there on Bitcoin Cash. The other ones, what was it? Cardano has also been particularly good, but it's now softened since its slap in the face. So yeah, the others are drifting off now as we're slowly getting into that possible progress decay period. Okay, pop over to our website if you want to have a chat with HVF qualified trader yourself. Trading's not for everybody, and thank you for watching. Share and like accordingly. Speak to you all soon.